I really want to thank the board of directors of the Montana Hall of Fame, and then Rick for your leadership and your communication, and I appreciate you inviting me back as well. I had an awesome day and an opportunity to spend a lot of time with Jan Stenerud and Gary Richards, and both of those gentlemen played for my dad at Montana State early in his career. Jan, your story should be a movie someday. It's unbelievable. 1 year as a kicker and that, and I don't know if you all know, but Gary Richards actually played quarterback at times at Montana State, threw a touchdown pass. He was 9-1 as a pitcher, and he has the highest percentage. He shot one shot for the basketball team and made it. So give it up to Gary Richards for that. Congratulations to all the other inductees, and well-deserved. This is a special night. My wife, Karen, and I have been married for 35 years, and we're happy to represent my family as well. Todd, I want to share a little bit about the Sweeney family. It's already a little bit in the video. All of my siblings, I'm the youngest of 9, we're all born in Montana. My mom and dad were born in Butte. And I had 6 siblings that were born in Butte, 2 sisters that were born in Kalispell, and then myself, Bozeman, in 1963. We came up early and drove to Bozeman 2 days ago, and went by 1508 Wilson and looked at the old house that I actually was born in when we moved into the house. And Karen and I took a picture, and I sent the picture to all my brothers and sisters, and then we were driving away, and she put it on Zillow. And I'm like, why did we ever sell that? A $1.2 million house in Bozeman. It was amazing. So good things are taking place in the state of Montana. We're honored, as I said, to represent our family. But I actually, as in my preparation a couple weeks ago, my dad died in 2013, and we had an amazing celebration of his life at a stadium. But when I was getting some materials ready to talk to you, I found a letter, actually, and this is sadly, that it was unopened. And this came from a gentleman who actually played for my dad, walked on the football team in 1987, and it says right here, as the shortest player on the team except for the kicker. And I'm not going to go through all 5 pages, but I really thought that this was the premise of my dad, because all 9 of my brothers and sisters shared our father with 100 players every year for 44 years of coaching. And that was a good thing and a bad thing at times, but this is the impact he had on people's lives. Jim Sweeney was a teacher and a preacher. He taught all of his children and his bulldogs one thing or another of life. He taught me how to become a man, how to put team above self. He taught me how to be a father and a man. He didn't just teach you through the words, he taught you through his heart and through his actions. He taught me that it is okay for a man to cry and that tears are liquid prayers. He taught me how to deal with adversity and how to give myself, not 100%, but 110%, to go beyond your limits, and you will reach your goals in life. And I get texts like this from so many people all the time, and it's a thrilling opportunity for me and for my family to know that Dad made so much impact in young people's lives. And it's been a thrill for me because it's 55 years ago he left Montana, and many of you have told me Jim Sweeney stories this weekend as well. Legacy. A legacy of great players and great coaches. And just to name a few, Jan Stenerud, as I've already mentioned, Dennis Erickson, Sam Jankovic, Joe Tiller played for Dad and coached for Dad at Washington State as well, and then went on to Purdue, was Wyoming previous to that. Trent Dilfer was a Super Bowl winning quarterback. And then a story that I'm going to tell you all is about Mal Moore. Who knows who Mal Moore is? Anybody? Mm-hmm. Yes, a few of you do. So Mal Moore actually won 10 national championships in his lifetime at the University of Alabama as a player. He was Joe Namath's backup, as a coach, and then also as the AD, who he actually ended up hiring Nick Saban. So the Mal Moore story is this. Dad is coaching at Butte Central High School, doesn't have much money, and they drive down to Boise with Jim Cambich to go to a football clinic, and guess who's speaking there is Bear Bryant. And he's all fired up, and they bring their wives, who so happened my mom was Lucille, and so is Mrs. Cambich was Lucille as well. And I'm not born yet, so I just know this by the story. So they go for the weekend. They don't have enough money for 2 hotel rooms, so on Friday night they sleep at the high school in the parking lot. And in the morning, Dad gets up to go to the bathroom, and he goes out to the bathroom and coming out of the bushes, and he's cleaning himself off, and who's walking by? Bear Bryant. So hello, coach, and then he's all nervous, and he meets him and addresses him, and they became fast and furious friends. And so Bear Bryant took Dad under his wing, became a great mentor for him, came to Fresno many times actually to speak and to help raise money for him. So lo and behold, it goes, Mal Moore finishes his season, senior season, and hands him a piece of paper and says, call this guy and tell him you're his next graduate assistant. So Mal Moore moved to Bozeman, Montana in 1963, moved into our house, lived in our house. I had 5 sisters who actually fell in love with Mal Moore. My youngest sister was Patty, and she used to actually, she'd kiss the doorknob and say, oh, this is Mal Moore, and was kissing the doorknob. So that's in my Mal Moore story in Bear Bryant. Lastly, I had a unique opportunity to play for my dad. And as a father and a son is an interesting relationship, but to have a coach and player is very unique. And so we had a journey together. My senior year, I was chasing and we ended up setting, so I'm going to steal that thunder. We set the NCAA record for career passing, but 4th game of the year, I blew my shoulder out. And I kept playing. And I was hurt. So about the 7th game of the year, Dad wakes up in the morning. I moved home my senior year, and 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm here walking down the hallway, going in the garage, and I know when he talks and pounds his feet like that, like we're going to have a conversation. So he sticks his head in my door, and I've now been prepared. I had 6 seconds to wake up, and like that, and he sticks his head, and he says, hey, you've played like shit for the last 3 weeks. And I looked at him, I said, you haven't coached very well either. So I said, and this will tell you a lot about him. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll be in your office at 8 o'clock. We're going to talk about this. And I basically said this. I said, you know what? I am hurt. He talked aloud, are you hurt or are you injured? I'm hurt. And I need your help because I can't really do the functionality things that you think I need to do. I actually literally could not hand the ball off with my left arm because it would dislocate. And so we had he looked at me and he started crying. And he's like, I knew you were hurt, but I didn't know how hurt you were. So we fly to Hawaii, and we're playing in Hawaii, and it's the end of the half, and I slide and get smacked right in front of him at the bench at the end of the half, and he's looking down at me. He looks, and he's normally yelling and screaming at me to get up, right? And he looks, and he goes, should we call timeout? And I'm like, yes. So that was, we had a very, very unique relationship and an unbelievable opportunity. I'm so proud that the two of us had the courage to actually go in Division I and have a father-son, coach and son relationship when I was playing quarterback for him. So I'm blessed for that. Thank you, Montana Hall of Fame, for recognizing my father for the greatness that he was. And really, this will continue on with Jim Sweeney history. So look forward to the rest of the evening, and thank you all very, very much.